Hi, this is Suey778 coming at you, and we have yet another multimeter to review for you today. And today's offering is the Uni-T UT39E Plus multimeter. This is available at Aliexpress. This is where I bought it, and I did get it from Mr. Tool's store. So again, I want to say thanks to Jerry for getting this out to me quickly. Appreciate it. Good reseller on Aliexpress. Let's get on to the unboxing. Well, first it comes in a nice looking colorful box. On the front you get a nice picture of it and some of the features. On the sides you get a phone number here, and on the back you get some more specifications. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what we get. Let's see. First we get a set of leads, thermocouple, and we also get the manual. Actually, it is in Chinese. There is an English version of the manual available on the Uni-Trend site, and also we get a manufacturer date for this unit. As you can see, this is a brand new unit. This came out, this was built in December of 2020. So like I said, this is a very new model. Also got something from Mr. Tool's store. Basically just giving his contact information and everything, so that was cool. Jerry's a really nice guy. So if you buy stuff on AliExpress, I definitely recommend his store. Anyway, and then of course we get the multimeter itself, the Uni-T UT39E Plus. So there it is in all its glory. So let's get this set up and let's take a look at it. Okay. And before we get started here with the overview, let me point out that this is a manual range multimeter. This is not an auto range multimeter. But this is a good one, folks, and we're going to find out why. So let's go from top to bottom here. Of course, we got the screen here and then a pair of buttons. The yellow button shares the select for functions that have more than one option, and also the relative button. Unfortunately, the relative is only available for capacitance. The blue button shares the freeze frame hold and the backlight, and then right here is your jack for your transistor function. And down here we've got an NCV light for NCV actually and continuity. Let's go ahead and turn this on. Okay, we're going to show you the backlight here, and you do a long press for short press for the hold, long press for the backlight. Let's go ahead and get it back on. And let's go around the dial here. Starting off, we have DC voltage. This is AC voltage. Your non-contact voltage, you have a high range and a low range on this. Next, you have AC and DC voltage. As you see, you can toggle between the two. Next up is your readings for the transistors. Next is temperature. You can toggle between Fahrenheit or Celsius, as you can see there. Next up is your frequency reading. Next up is your capacitance. Next up, this meter does actually offer conductance up to 100 ns, which is pretty good. Next we have our continuity and diodes, and then finally we have our resistance. Down below here on the jacks, you just get 3 jacks on this. Of course, your common jack, and then this will share everything, continuity, diodes, capacitance, resistance, etc., etc. Also microamps and milliamps. And then of course this is a 20 amp jack actually. Maximum 10 seconds every 15 minutes on that. This is advertised as a category 2 1000 volt, category 3 600 volt. I'm guessing it's probably more like a category 2 250 volt, like most of these are in this range. Anyway, this does, by the way, do milliamps or millivolts and volts, and then in a current it will do microamps, milliamps, and amps. Okay, let's go ahead and get on to the battery compartment and the teardown. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the batteries first. I'm just going to show you the battery compartment because I've already put batteries in this. This multimeter, by the way, does not come with batteries. So what you want to do is first we need to get, this is one of these where you have to actually take the condom off. So let's get that off first. This is the first time I've attempted this on camera with such a big one. Come on, get off of there. There we go. So it's relatively easy to get off. And then you just want to flip this over. The battery compartment is right up here. Let me make sure that we got that in the camera. And we do. Okay. Let's see. Screwdriver here. And as usual, I didn't unscrew it enough. Let's do it a little bit more. There it goes. Okay, and there's your battery compartment. And then to take the rest of this apart, basically you're going to have to push the stand up and then unscrew these two jacks, or these two screws down here. The battery compartment, by the way, does look like it has a brass insert, so that's good. These are probably self-tapping, but they are Phillips. So let's go ahead and get, it's wanting to slide around all over the place. Let's get these unscrewed. I saw in another review where they mentioned it was difficult to get this out. It really isn't. As you can see, I've already got it started. There's a couple of tabs up here that you have to be wary of. In fact, we can put that down just to make that easier. And actually, you know what? Let's just do the guitar pick. That will make it come off real easy. Come on, you. There it goes. See? Oh, gonna have to do the other side. Got a little bit too hasty there. There we go. And it's going to come right off. It just basically lifts straight up. As you can see, the battery compartment is contained in the back part, which is always a good thing. And let me get this set up and we'll take a look at the PC board for this meter. Okay, now for the close-up of the PC board for the UT39E Plus, going from right to left. First, we've got the connectors. They are of the split variety. They seem to be in there pretty well. I've got a pair of fuses. Both of these are 250 volt fuses. This is the 200 milliamp. This, I find it very hard to believe that that would be a 20 amp. It's probably a 10. That would be my guess. I do like the plating around the fuses and the current shunt here, which is actually a fairly decent size. I like that. And you get a pair of PTCs here on the input, which is good. You might notice that this is labeled PTC2 and PTC3. You might be able to see the PTC3 right there. Where's the PTC number 1, you might ask? Well, I pulled this out and flipped it over to see if it was on the other side. It's not. I think it's just mislabeled silk screening. Anyway, got some resistors up here, decent cluster of diodes here, some more resistors here, looks like maybe a couple of capacitors as well, some more here. Your buzzer is here. Here's your main processor. The NCV is way up here. It's kind of small. I don't know if it uses that plate or not to help act as an antenna. Battery contacts are here. Your calibration apparatus is right here. some more diodes, capacitors, and resistors up in here. And that's basically it. Fairly clean design. I do like this design. I don't see any shoddy soldering anywhere, so that's good. The manufacturer date on this particular one looks like the 46th week of 2020. And it looks like this is the 39E plus version 9. And looks like the revision date is March the 4th, 2019. Okay. Anyway, there you have it. There is the insides for you. Let's go ahead and put this back together and we'll do some tests. Okay, and now for the de-virginization of the Uni-T UT39E Plus. Before we do that, real quick, I do want to mention a couple of details I left out in the overview. Number one, this is a 20,000 count meter. As you can see right here, 20,000 counts. For $35, which is what I basically paid for this, that's a really nice resolution to have. Also, the backlit display does not stay on. However, I did mention that it didn't stay on, but you get about 30 seconds with that. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and peel the protective covering off. And there you go. Nice and shiny and beautiful. Alright, let's get on to some of the tests. Okay, first up is the voltage test, the DC voltage test. So let's go ahead and get this backlight on just to display it. And I've had my 8584 warming up for about 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and get this plugged in and let's see what happens. And of course, as always, we got the UT8804N as the reference. So here we go. This is 2.5 volts. Okay, and we are getting 2.499, wavering up to 2.5. I would say that's pretty good. Okay, let's go to 5. Okay, we're getting 5.004, and that's really close to what my reference meter is saying, 5.0055. Again, pretty good. Let's go to 7.5. Okay, 7.502. Wow, that's right on. That is right on. Okay, let's go to 10 volts. And I tell you what, I love the fact that this meter can show can show 3 decimals, up to 20 volts in this. And as you can see, it is very, very close. It's 10.006, and my reference meter is saying 10.007, so that's really good. Okay, let's go ahead and test it for 32 volts. You get these plugged in here to my power supply. This has also been warming up for 15 minutes, so it should be stable. And let's see what we get on this. Actually, yeah, we're going to need to change that up to 200 volt range. All right, here we go. All right, and showing 32.008 on the reference and 32.01 on the 39E Plus. Again, that is very, very good. Okay, next up we're going to do the AC voltage test here. I've got it set on the 200 volt range of AC. I've got my power strip on, so let's go ahead and jam them in there and see what we get. And as you see, we get 2 decimal resolution, 123.43. Looks pretty good. Okay, let me put it in Hertz mode. Let's see if it'll measure that. Now this will not measure duty cycle, by the way. So let's go ahead and put those in. And we are getting it. Looks like 60.01. So looks good on that. 60.02. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go with the DC current test. Got my lights hooked up, and of course we're going to start off with 5 milliamps as usual. Got this in the 20 milliamp range, and then we'll have to move it up accordingly. So let's go ahead and start with 5 milliamps here. Okay, lights came on, and I was getting about what we were expecting here, about 6.9 volts. Those of you that are new to the channel, this does my power supply does overshoot 1 to 2 milliamps. All right, let's go ahead and go up to 10 milliamps here. Okay, and it's showing about 11.2. That's about right. Up to 12. Yep. Okay, let's go ahead and go up to 20. In fact, I'm going to have to switch here to the 200 milliamp range. Okay, there's 20 milliamps. Looking good there. Again, the customary 2 milliamps over. All right, let's go up to 50. Okay, showing 50 there. 51. And that's about where I was expecting it to land. All right, let's go to 100. Lights getting nice and bright, and we are showing 101.8, 102.03. Okay, yep, looks good there. All right, let's go up to 150. And that's as high as I'm going to go because the this particular meter has just a limit of 200 milliamps. So don't want to blow the fuses. Okay, and at 150, it's outputting at about, measuring it at about 151.5, 151.6, which is about what I expected, so looks good here. Okay, here we go with the frequency test. According to the manual, this unit has a range of 0 Hertz to 2 megahertz. So we are going to start at 1 Hertz here at a 1 volt amplitude on a sine wave. Let's go ahead and get started. And, okay, reading 1 Hertz. All right, let's go to 10. Looks good there. All right, let's go to 100. Okay, looking good there. 1K. Looks good there. Like that nice decimal range. That's beautiful. Okay, let's go to 10K. Looks good there. All right, let's go to 100K. Looks good there. All right, let's go to 1 meg. Looking good there. All right, let's go ahead and go up to 2. And we have reached the spec. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to 3. Looks good there. 4 meg. Looks good there. Okay, let's go to 5. And it looks like it's losing it. So let's go ahead and bump up the amplitude. Let's go to 2 volts here. Okay, looks like we got it back. All right, so we're doing 5 here. All right, let's go ahead and try 10. 10 megahertz. Looks good there. Let's go to 15. Looks good there. A little bit slightly off, but not bad. All right, let's go to 20. This is probably going to put it in over limit, but we're going to try it anyway. Okay. Yep, lost it. Let's bump up the amplitude just a little bit more. Let's put it to 2.5. Let's see what happens. Yep, over limit. All right. All right, let's go back down to, let's try 19. Let's see if we get that. And we are getting 19 megahertz. Okay, let's go to 19.9. Might as well. And it looks like it's reading that. All right, let's go to 19.99. And it's reading that. Getting a little bit funky there, but still, I mean, this is way above its advertised spec, 19.99 megahertz. I'll take that. Looking good on the frequency test. Okay, now let's go on to the continuity test. First thing we're going to try is the stock leads and see how those do. These feel okay, nothing special. Curiously, they do not come with lead covers. And yeah, they're relatively sharp. Not real sharp. But let's put these in. Let's get this on continuity. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens here. And this will report continuity at 50 ohms and below. Well, look at that, real responsive light, good latch. You know what? These stock leads are actually quite usable. Very impressed. We'll do the probe masters anyway, since we do all these kind of measurements with the probe masters. But yeah, they're not the best feeling leads in the world, but I tell you what, they're not bad. Okay, here we go with the probe masters. Let's go ahead and do these. Yep, just fine as expected. Okay, so good on the continuity test. All right, next up we're going to do some resistance. Let me get it into resistance. Okay, we're going to start in the 200 ohm range and work our way up. Remember, this is a manual meter. So here is 10 ohms. Okay, looks good there. All right, this is 100. Looks good there. Need to switch it up to 2K here. This is 220. Okay, looking good there. 330. Looks good there. 1K. Looks really good there. Boy, I love those 4 decimals on a handheld, man. Nice. 2K. Oh, duh. Gotta go up to the 20K range, I guess. I guess it's a little bit above 2K. Yep, 2.004 looks good there. 5.1. Looks good there. Okay, here's 10K. Looks good there. All right, need to go up to 2 meg range. There's 100K. Right on the money there. And here's 1 meg. And looks pretty good there. All right, let me get the resistance substitution box out. We'll measure a couple higher ranges here. Get these out of my lap so I won't interfere with them. Okay, so with the 2 meg range, let's just put it in, well, let's try 2 meg. Just about right on there. Give you some lights. All right, we got to go up to the 20 meg range. Still reading it good there. Should drop down, and it does. So we're good. All right, let's go to 4 meg. I'd say pretty close to what it should be. 10 meg. Looking pretty good there. All right, let's go to 11. This is basically as high as I can go. And it is reading it as 11.002. So looks good there on the resistance. Okay, next up is going to be capacitance. So let's get that into capacitance mode. Where is it? So we are going to try it at 100 picofarads. Actually, let's try it with the 22 puff. Let me hit that rail. Okay. Let's get the light on. Let's see if it'll read this 22 puff that I have on the... Yeah, Yeah, it doesn't look like it's reading. Let me take the rel off. I don't think it's going to work though. Nope, not reading it. Okay. Well, let's try 100 and see if that'll work. And it is not reading 100 picofarads either. Alright, let's go up for, let's try 1 nanofarad. Yeah, it's off. Alright, let's try 2.2. Okay, yeah, it's getting better there. 3.3. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. That's a little bit low. Alright, let's try it and let's see, 4.7. Yeah, kind of low. Let's go up to 10. Yeah, it's still a little bit off. Alright, let's try 22. That looks pretty good there. Okay, 33. Yeah, that's good. 47. That's good. 56. Low as expected. 68. Should be around 64. Yep. And 100. Yep, pretty close to what it should be. So it seems like this thing's lower range really, or lower effective range, is about 20 nanofarads. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to do a few more here. Here's the 85, and it's reading it right as 85 nanofarads. All right, let's go to 1 microfarad. Looks pretty good there. All right, let's go to 10. There we go. Yep, looks about right there. All right, here's 47, which is really 44. Yeah, I'd say we're fine there. All right, 100. This unit, by the way, only goes up to 2,000 microfarads. Okay, looks good there on 100. Let's try 1,000. Say pretty good there. Yep. All right, let's try the 2200 anyway. This is probably not going to work. We're probably going to get an over limit, but we'll try it anyway. Yep. Okay, yeah, it looks pretty good on capacitance. A little bit limited range, which is a shame. But yeah, basically what you're working with this is 20 nanofarads up to 2,000 microfarads, or 2 millifarads. Okay, next up we're going to do some diodes. So let's do the LED lights first. Get that into diode mode. There we go. All right. So let's see what this does on the LEDs. Here is red with a reading and a continuity beat. Nice. Yellow with a reading. Green lights it but no reading, and that's probably because of the scale. Blue lights it up nice. White lights it up nice. Probably the same deal here. We'll probably get a reading on the red. We do. Green, probably just light it with nothing. Yep, and then blue. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do the diodes. So that's probably just a limitation of the range, since this is based on 2. All right, here is the rectifier. Continuity beat. Yep, looks good there. Fast recovery. Yep, 5.5106 looks good there. Okay, Schottky. .1952, looks good there. Okay, switching, looks good there. 609.6091. All right, and germanium .2801. All right, looks good there. Okay, let's do a voltage output reading real quick for the diode mode for the UT39E Plus. I'm going to use my little Tilswall to measure it. All right, let's go ahead and stick these in here and see what we get. 3.315, so a pretty healthy voltage output there. Okay, here we got the Thermoprobe Test is showing Celsius. Let's go ahead and switch that over to Fahrenheit. Okay, we're getting 77 degrees, and my thermometer on the wall says 77.4, so it looks good there. Let's see how it reacts to body heat. Yeah, I'd say fairly good. All right, and last but not least, let's do the fire test. Oh yeah, jumped up real fast. So I would say this Thermoprobe is actually pretty good and working just fine. Okay, last but not least, let's go ahead and do the NCV test. And by the way, I do like this nice sturdy, here's another one I can do this with. So, nice sturdy stand on this thing. All right, so let's do the NCV. Let me turn my AC outlet on, my box. Okay, let's go ahead and try it on the high mode. That's not good. Let's try the low mode. Okay, getting something there. You see the light flashing, hopefully in the camera. It is not that sensitive. I basically have to just set it on top of there just to get it to... And it's actually picking up my electrical. Alright, let's try the overhead LED. Alright. Well, it works. Not very good. But, I mean, it does work, but it's not the most sensitive in the world. And okay, let's go ahead and get on to the pros and the cons. First, the pros. Well, first and foremost, this multimeter, the Uni-T UT39E Plus, has excellent accuracy on pretty much everything. Within its ranges, of course. Another is a very crisp, clean display that does not wash out. I'm looking at it from almost a 90-degree angle right now, say 80-degree angle. I can still read it with no problem, even when the light goes out. So that's a huge plus. 20,000 counts for $35. And it takes great advantage of its resolution. So, again, awesome. This does seem to be solidly built. That includes the stand and everything else. It's not the heaviest, the biggest, or the baddest multimeter, but pretty decently built. I like the build quality. And that includes the rotary selector. It's easy to use once you get used to the fact that you are using a manual range multimeter. It's very straightforward. Pretty much, does what it says. It's easy to take this thing down. I mean, the condom is easy to get off. You got 2 screws, and then you just have to work the 2 tabs out. But other than that, it's not a problem. So, yeah, you have to take the cover off to get to the batteries. But like I said, getting this rubber cover off is not that big of a deal. As I already mentioned, the solid stand. I do like this stand. You can, use it with one hand. Works just fine. So there is that. On the frequency readings, this thing significantly exceeds the specifications. This is rated up to 2 megahertz. We got it to read up to 19.90 megahertz with no problem. I mean, on 2.5 volt amplitude. So that's awesome. Last but not least, and I cannot stress this enough, these leads are actually pretty good. They're fast. They're not quite as nice as the, not quite as fast as the Probe Masters, but just a hair behind. And, you know, these thermal probes are pretty good too. I mean, they're fast, they're reacting. And basically, I have nothing to complain about them. These are made out of PVC, but again, you know, you can't have it all. But for PVC leads, they really are not bad. I would use them. And that's something that cannot be said about most of the stock leads that I look at on this channel. On to the cons. Well, there aren't too many cons, but let's go ahead and go through them. Backlight does not stay on. That's kind of a pain. At least you get a backlight with it. You get 30 seconds, but it would have been nice had it just stayed on. The rel mode, you can only use it in capacitance mode, which is a shame. Although this thing is so accurate, I found in the vast majority of situations I didn't really need the rel feature anyway, and that included capacitance. And also, speaking of capacitance, it's got a somewhat limited range. I mean, it can only measure up to 2 millifarads on the high end, and on the low end, you really can't measure accurately below 20 nanofarads. It had to come up short somewhere, and that's where it comes up short. But in its capacitance range, though, it does a very good job. It's just as accurate as it is with everything else. Last but not least, on the cons, the NCV just is not very sensitive. If you are buying this because you are in need of a good non-contact voltage module, you're not going to be happy with it. It does work, but just don't expect it to be very sensitive. It just simply is not. Okay, so that brings me to the conclusion for this multimeter. The Uni-T UT39E is a feature-packed unit that provides excellent accuracy across the board and has fantastic count resolution. I love this thing for its resolution alone. I mean, it's accurate and it's got a high resolution. And it's cheap. This unit would be a great alternative, as a matter of fact, to the UT61E Plus for those who are on a restricted budget or just someone who simply doesn't want to pay a whole lot of money for a good multimeter. Well, this is definitely one to consider if you fall into one of those two groups. This unit would be useful on an electronics bench or as a household meter. I mean, it's a good all-around meter. I can't stress that enough. And I would venture to say that this is probably the best handheld digital multimeter that I have reviewed on this channel, and I definitely would recommend this. So, for the Uni-T UT39E Plus, a big thumbs up. I love this thing. This is a really good multimeter. If you can put up with manual range, I personally can, and I definitely recommend it. It's a great little meter. Anyway, that's going to do it for this review. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. That is one of the few cons of this. The very crisp screen display that does not, and how did I twist my tongue on that?